Growing up, I was just constantly on my bike, whether it was delivering newspapers or just riding around.
He was not only interested in the outdoors, he was really good at it.
After moving to Montana, I'd go mountain biking 3 or 4 times a week.
Watching him on a snowboard was like watching a ballet. He was pretty to watch. He was that good.
Hanging out, kind of a normal day, and one of my roommates asked if I wanted to go mountain biking. I was having a pretty good run, and I got over an obstacle that I had usually skipped, and then was, feeling maybe a little overconfident. Considered doing the next one, and never really committed to it when I went over it, and ended up going over the handlebars, landing on my head. I was wearing a full-face helmet when I fell. First thing I noticed was I was having a lot of trouble breathing. Kind of felt like I had the wind knocked out of me. And then realized that my hands weren't working right and I couldn't get up. Still on the ground for a while, and I had the good sense to not let anyone move me, because I was quite certain something was very wrong. In the hospital, I pretty quickly went into surgery as far as I remember.
And all of a sudden, he's on a ventilator. He had to be turned in bed to avoid bed sores.
And kind of woke up to the doctor informed me that I was quadriplegic.
It looked like a really hopeless situation.
The short version of the diagnosis was that my life was never going to be the same. So I lost the ability to walk, as well as use my hands in a normal way. I had to figure out how to perform daily tasks, how to go to the bathroom again. Everything changed. I actually got help 7 days a week, twice a day.
We thought we were going to spend our retirement taking care of him full time.
Before the accident, I was a chef, and I also worked as a ski tech. Both things where I'm constantly using my hands, always on my feet. Those both have gone out the window.
We gathered the troops.
Yeah, we got other children in, and we kind of support each other. It was a rough time.
I first heard about the research they were doing at the University of Louisville from like a weekly roundup of the active clinical trials that they did at the rehab hospital.
The novelty of the project was the combination of epidural stimulation with intense training following a spinal cord injury. There's a lot of animal research that had been done with epidural stimulation, mostly on rats. That research showed a lot of promising results in terms of restoration of standing as well as stepping. And 9 years ago, we decided that there was enough evidence from the animal research to move this into a human model. So we set off to do a proof of concept or proof of principle that the human spinal cord pretty much could have the same result in terms of restoration of function following injury.
At the time, I wasn't eligible for anything they were doing. It wasn't until 2 years later that they contacted me, finally decided that I was eligible for this research, and they wanted me to get the implant.
The implantation is actually, we implant an electrode array that has 16 contacts. So we're implanted in the low spinal cord, and then that electrode connects to a battery or neurostimulator that's implanted in the abdomen, and that's how we control which electrodes are turned on, with how much amplitude, what frequency we use, and develop the different programs for the different tasks.
Very odd experience to have 2 implants connected by a wire that runs along my ribs. The first time they turned it on, it was a total surprise. I just started feeling jolts all over my body, like a sequence of like 16 different jolts.
As soon as we find the correct configuration for leg movement, they're able to start moving their legs, their toes. For somebody that has been told you will never be able to move your legs or walk again, that's a very important first step, that they can experience that. Jeff actually was able to stand independently fairly quickly. I think within the first 15 to 20 sessions, he was actually standing with a walker without assistance at the knees.
I would do 3 hours every day in the lab, an hour and a half of stand training, hour and a half roughly of step training, and then do more voluntary training at home at night and on the weekends. So they keep you pretty busy. Eventually I was able to work up to stepping for a quarter mile at a time.
This summer, we were on the phone with Jeffrey and I said, what are you looking forward to doing when you get home this summer? Anything special? And I don't think it took him 15 seconds to say, I'd like to go down this downhill portion of the Willard Munger Trail. It was so neat to do that with Jeffrey, and he enjoyed it. He didn't have any help on his hand cycle.
I used to get help 7 days a week, twice a day. Since I've been training, I've been able to get rid of virtually all of that.
We love helping him, but he doesn't give us a lot of chance. He just works. He does everything he can himself.
Goals for the future, we'd like to see him get a decent job that he can do. We would love grandchildren, and if he found a nice young lady and had some children, we would be real good about that.
I've always been a very independent person, and having all that constant help, I appreciate the help, but I prefer to do it myself.